Okay, so I'm going to read a short excerpt from a book. They waited another 15 minutes. At 9:30, Pavan quieted the room again. His expression suddenly became more serious. Beyond serious, pained. He looked like a man with a stomachache. The excitement of what he was about to say was nearly too much for him. 21 and a half, he shouted. The 400 people in the room went wild. The ragtag collection of engineers and engineers' helpers suddenly were worth $300 million. Pavan waved his hand for silence. The room went quiet. 24, Pavan shouted. More cheers. Again, Pavan raised his hand again. Silence. 28, Pavan shouted. More cheers. Now Pavan's hand was raised high and straight like a Roman orator's. The room went completely silent. It was filled with people whose fortunes were rocketing. At the rate they were going, they'd all be billionaires by nightfall. So that is a short excerpt from a book by Michael Lewis called The New Thing, a phenomenal book. And I feel as if though those of us who have been involved with Bitfarms for, even if it's the past month, 2 months or so, it feels as if though we're on a very similar journey. $3, then $4, then $5. Now we're approaching $6. What's next? $10, $20, $50, $100, $1,000. You know, there does come a point, right, where every ride comes to an end, you know? And I don't want to think about that right now. I want to think about how amazingly awesome this journey is right now in this moment. Over the past 6 months, shares of Bitfarms are up over 500%. Over 500%. So, you know, to play it a little bit safe, right, as I've shared before, I did remove my original investment. So this is all house money. But what I've also elected to do now is to institute a bit of a stop loss just to kind of keep, you know, tracking the stock price. So if we were to get some sort of calamitous situation that just completely implodes the stock price, with any luck, the trade will get executed, and then I can complain endlessly about only having made 500%, 700%, 800%, whatever the percentage is going to be by the time the music stops. I'd encourage you to consider doing something similar. Of course, I don't dispense investment advice on these broadcasts, but boy, it would really, really suck. Just imagine this, to know that you're up 5, 6, 7, 1,000%, 10,000%, whatever the number is going to be, and only to then watch all of those paper gains evaporate. I think that aside from losing money in the market, the only thing that sucks even more from my perspective is having a bunch of paper profits and watching those paper profits just vanish. So the new thing was written many years ago, and the company whose stock price was skyrocketing was called Halcyon. If you don't even know what that company's name is, that's okay. This is what happens a lot of times in the stock market, right? Things go up, there's a boom, there's a mania, eventually things come down, back to earth, right? So I'm enjoying the journey. I hope you're enjoying it as well, but all good things, unfortunately, do come to an end. Hopefully, this journey will not come to an end for a very, very long time. Okay, my friend, until next time, I wish I had more news to share, but there's really not much to share. So let's be positive, let's be great, and yeah, we'll definitely speak again very, very soon.